Good evening. You're watching Kenya's third most preferred TV station. This is Switch TV News at 7. I am Lincoln Ombogwa. Our sign language interpreter is Teresia Washira, and these are the headlines. IEBC warns Kamba constituents against being used by politicians to cause violence ahead of Thursday's by-election. University of Nairobi student leaders threaten to demonstrate tomorrow following the administration's decision to double up school fees for self-sponsored students and postgraduate courses. The second witness on Sharon Otieno's murder case testifies as the trial against Migori Governor Okoth Obado enters day 2. Glad you're watching. Over 30 minutes of the broadcast begins now. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has warned Kamba constituents against being used by politicians to cause violence during Thursday's by-election. The Kamba parliamentary race has attracted 6 aspirants. Namikele Samuel reports.
With less than 48 hours before Kamba residents elect their next member of parliament, the by-election returning officer Paul Mugai has asked Kamba constituents to stay put and desist from being used as puppets by politicians to cause violence.
Sio vizuri waache watu wa Kamba wajiamulie kwa njia ya amani, kwa sababu kura sio kila kitu katika maisha hii. Huyo ni mtu anajitafutia kazi yake, na sio vizuri kufanya watu wachukiane kwa sababu wewe unataka kazi.
Speaking in Karuri Secondary School, the main tallying center for the by-election, Muigai has assured Kamba residents of a free, fair and credible election.
Tayarisha watu wale ambao watakuwa wakisimamia hizi kura katika mashule na zile mahali pale watu watakuwa wakipigia kura, mashule zetu, makamp zetu, na pia kuna kwingine tutaweka tent kwa sababu hatuna structures, na tumejitayarisha kabisa.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, measures have been pushed to curtail the spread of the virus during the by-election. This includes the placement of water tanks, hand sanitizers, and thermogans to check the temperatures of voters before being allowed into the polling stations.
Tutakuwa na maji katika kila station na sabuni na sanitizers. Na pia hatutakubalia mtu yeyote ambaye hatakuwa amevaa mask kuingia katika kituo cha kupigia kura. Tuko na makarani specifically ambao wametrainiwa ama wamefundishwa vile ya kuhandle mambo ambayo inahusiana hii ugonjwa ya COVID-19.
With just a few hours after the conclusion of campaigns in this region, posters and banners are still all over the constituency as we gear up to the D-Day of the by-election. The frontrunners in this by-election are Kariri Njama of Jubilee and John Njuguna Wanjiki of DP Ruto-linked party UDA. In the next 48 hours, constituents here in Kamba constituency will go into the ballot to elect their representative in the August House. Namukana Samuel, Switch TV, Kiambu County.
Thank you, Namukene Samuel. With 12 months left the general elections, politics from the Mount Kenya region continue to gather momentum, with Kenyans from the region bearing mixed reactions as to who will be their spokesperson once President Uhuru Kenyatta retires.
The push and pull and the flex of might continues in the Mount Kenya region as to who will be the region's spokesperson once President Uhuru Kenyatta is done with his second term.
I have declared that I will be in the ballot of presidential elections in 2022.
We have done our mathematics. We have looked at the leadership, especially from the Kenya region, and we are supporting you.
The recent by-elections have been used as the boxing rings for political heavyweights, with each party using them as a litmus test of how well-grounded their parties are ahead of 2022 political polls. However, from the Kenyans' reactions, this might not be the actual reflection.
Kwa hivi sasa tunaongea juu ya by-election. Ikifika 2022, sisi kama watu wa Mlima Kenya tutakaa chini kwa meza tuongee.
Na hapa tunauliza watu wa Kiambaa tuchague Kareri Jama, lakini hapo juu Ruto. Ruto ache kutuchanganya. Atuachie Kareri junior wetu, lakini hapo kwake tutamchagua. Lakini hapo juu ni kwake, lakini hapa chini akule vako.
The very anticipated parliamentary by-elections in Kamba appear to be a showdown between Jubilee Party, who are fronting their candidate Karuri Njama, and UDA fronting John Wanjiko.
Mimi msemaji wa Mlima Kenya ni Ruto, William Samuel Ruto. Hata wakati ikifika 2022 yeye utapigia kura kama nitakuwa uhai. Labda iwe ni maaga dunia.
Mimi si wa Ruto. Mimi niko Jubilee damu na nitaunga hii nyumba yetu tuijenge mpya, kwa sababu nyumba yako ikiingia panya huchomi.
By-election after by-election, 12 months to the general election, and the politics of the mountain continues to intensify as the people of the region seek to identify who will bear the flag of the region come 2022. David Kagina, Switch TV from Kiambu County.
Thank you, David Kagina. As the exercise in search for commissioners to serve at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) enters day 6, June Cherop, a former Ethics and Anti-Corruption Vice Chairperson, found herself defending her application for the job as her former unethical offences during her tenure unravelled. Caroline Sume with more details.
How the IEBC operates.
Irene Keino, former Vice Chair at Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, is among the 36 hopefuls eyeing vacant IEBC commissioner positions. Few minutes into the interview, selection panelist Joseph Mutie questioned Keino on her application for the job after her unceremonious exit following ethical irregularities at the EACC.
Do you think somebody who has been removed from one commission for ethical considerations is suitable to join another commission?
I think my opinion is all avenues have to be exhausted, all appeals, and for all fairness. Yes.
Irene Cherop, on the other hand, before the 7-member selecting panel, accused IEBC of not conducting free and fair elections in 2013, at a time she was vying for a women representative seat.
One is the process of party nominations. They are not credible. We went to our stations, the papers delayed, they never arrived. Then later around 1 on Friday, we are told the elections for nominations have been postponed. It will be done on Saturday. That is now recipe for rigging.
Joseph Gutile Naituli is the last candidate to be interviewed today. The professor of management at Multimedia University wants the poll body to print its own ballot papers, terming the Kenyan election to be the most expensive in the world. A total of 669 applications were received by the panel for the commissioner post. The vacancies arose following the resignation of 4 commissioners, leaving only Chairman Wafula Chebukati, Abdi Gulie and Boya Molu. Caroline Suma, Switch TV.
Thank you, Caroline Sume. At least 12 people have been confirmed dead and several others injured, and more than 200 displaced in Kerio Valley in Elgeiyo Marakwet following an increase of cases of insecurity in the county. The killings that have occurred in the past 2 weeks are suspected to be conducted by residents within the area, Robert Homer reports.
It has been a cold 2 weeks for the residents of Kerio Valley in Elgeiyo Marakwet County, many living in fear and panic of what would happen or who would go next, bandits taking over the security of the region. The Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i has today given a 7 days ultimatum to the suspects of the killing at Kerio Valley to surrender themselves or be faced ruthlessly by the law.
The names are known. I have given them 7 days to surrender the names and share those people with the police, or else we will go for them, because that is what will happen. We don't want this to happen in our country.
Among those killed in the conflict are 2 members of peace committees at the borders of West Pokot and Elgeiyo Marakwet counties. Matiang'i adding that the government's arm is long enough to bring the culprits to book.
It will not happen. We are ready, and we are not going to play games with the stability and security of our people, because that is second to nothing.
CS Matiang'i's sentiments have been echoed by the Elgeiyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen.
We believe this is the last meeting we will come here because people have died. We can only now come here to inspect government projects and to celebrate peace in this region.
The leaders have also put to notice some of the prominent individuals who are suspected to be working with the criminals, saying that they will not leave any stone unturned. Robert Omer, Switch TV.
Thank you, Robert Omer. Migori Governor Kotha Bado's murder case against Sharon Otieno, a Rongo University student, has continued on the second day at the Milimani High Court today. The second witness, a crime scene officer at the time of her murder, Lillian Saka, has today tabled her testimony before Justice Cecilia Githua. Lillian also demonstrated items recovered from the scene by officers from the Oyugis police station that included 2 used condoms, a stained trouser, jacket and a stained underwear. At the same time, Lillian has also revealed that the CCTV footage from the Gracie Hotel in Rongo shows the co-accused Michael Oyamo was at the hotel the night before Sharon's murder, a hotel which she was meeting with a witness whose name is withheld for security purposes. Meanwhile, University of Nairobi student leaders Eddie Mwendwa says they will demonstrate tomorrow following the administration's decision to double up school fees for self-sponsored degree students and postgraduate courses. The student leadership has termed the directive as unsustainable due to the tough times brought about by the pandemic, Shilling-a-Teach reports.
For the better part of today, students from University of Nairobi took to Twitter condemning the administration's move to double tuition fee, terming it as unruly and one that continues to disregard student concerns. The 118% increase will now see students who paid 275,000 on average paying more than 600,000 Kenyan shillings for a 2-year program. The management aims at easing the cash crisis due to low student enrollment. Eddie Mwendwa, the UON students president, says they are willing to use any avenues to bring the administration to listen to their pleas.
As regards to the length we are willing to take, we will go to the streets, we will go to the courts, we will engage the administration in the boardroom if it chooses to engage us, so long as no student is injured or disadvantaged by this directive.
He faults the school administration and the government for their ineffective ways of handling higher education in the country.
The university has been led in very fishy ways in the past. The University of Nairobi currently is undergoing a lot of financial strain, which is majorly due to past misadministration by past vice-chancellors.
However, the Vice-Chancellor Professor Stephen Gitau Kiama says the rise in tuition fee will only affect new students joining the university from July.
That the university sees it necessary and wise to increase fees in this current economic environment is really surprising and unreasonable.
The strike is expected to be held tomorrow. Shilling-a-Teach, Switch TV.
Well, Sheila's story takes us to a short commercial break. Send in your feedback through our SMS line 111 444 111 at Switch TV Kenya and at Lincoln Ombogo. Stay tuned. Welcome back and thank you for keeping it Switch TV. The Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, KUCO, has accused the National Hospital Insurance Fund, NHIF, of discrimination and extortion, saying that the national insurer has declined to implement directives given by the Ministry of Health on granting universal health coverage to Kenyans. KUCO has warned that it will hold demonstrations should NHIF decline to adhere to their demands. Rachel Nduati has more.
For months, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers KUCO and the National Hospital Insurance Fund have been in wrangles following NHIF's failure to implement the directives by the Ministry of Health in a bid to implement universal health care. Some of the directives issued by the Ministry of Health include the diagnostic test and procedures requested by clinical officers be pre-authorized by NHIF as per their scope of training to improve access to health care. That medical centers and hospitals operated by clinical officers be recognized for accreditation by NHIF once they have fulfilled all the necessary requirements. That clinical officers will be allowed to prescribe advanced diagnostics as per their scope of training and specialty. According to the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers Secretary General George Gibore, NHIF has jeopardized the critical role played by the clinical officers in the diagnosis and treatment of patients in the primary health care.
It is only a raising suspicion that the NHF, who's actually are holding on our money. The NHF fund is not individual person money that you decided to do with it the way you want. It is the public fund that we have pulled together for purpose of ensuring that services reach the needy Kenyan. This money is intended actually to assist the president to achieve the universal health coverage. And it can only happen if the trained personnel, in this case the clinical officers, are facilitated to offer the services.
When NHIF, against the directives of a cabinet secretary, they have the audacity to insubordinate and undermine the cabinet secretary who has given directives that we are going to share with you, telling them that they must allow what we call pre-authorization, so that specialist clinical officers must be able to deliver their services to Kenyans.
The union has urged NHIF to fulfill its demands within 7 days, failure to which all clinical officers in the country will cease to attend to any NHIF-accredited patients and hold demonstrations to the NHIF headquarters. Rachel Ndwati, Switch TV.
Thank you, Rachel Nduati. Elsewhere, the fast nanotechnology mask that can destroy COVID-19 has been developed in Kenya. The blue double-layer face mask that kills bacteria, viruses on contact can be washed multiple times without losing its antimicrobial qualities, according to a Kenyan scientist, Dr. Joseph Nderito. Harriet Chimere with more.
The blue double-layer face mask may look like your normal face mask, but they are fortified by nanoparticles embedded in the fabric that kills viruses and bacteria on contact.
Once the cotton has been, the weaving and all that has been done, then before you go into the dyeing process and the finishing process, that's when now it goes into the treatment process, where it's treated under very high pressure and very high temperatures, so that the entire fabric is evenly impregnated with the nanoparticles.
Using a treated mosquito net analogy, the Kenyan scientist and innovator, Dr. Joseph Nderito, explains exactly how these nanomasks work.
Why do we believe it works? Why do we believe that it's an important health prevention tool? Because there are those non-treated mosquito nets which the mosquito might be able to squeeze through and reach the person. So that's exactly the same thing that's happening for the non-treated face mask. The same way that the mosquito might be able to squeeze through the net is the same way that this untreated mask might still predispose you to COVID-19 when you're using it. And this is the same way that now the face mask, the material from which the face mask is created, upon contact, because of the impregnation with the nanoparticles, it's going to destroy the microbes that are accumulating on the on the surface of the face mask.
The Ministry of Health, through the National Microbiology Reference Laboratory, has tasted the fabric and given the mask a thumbs up.
The material that he brought in the lab was about 5 types of materials treated in different strengths of the nanoparticles. And we were able to test the fabric and see whether the bacteria will be killed by the nanoparticles that diffuses into the media. So basically that's what we did, and we got very, very good results. For me as a medical microbiologist, I think that's the way to go.
The protective equipment, reusable 100 times, is now trading as Tira Nanomask, which go for 550 shillings each due to the high cost of production in Nakuru through textile manufacturer Betty Investments.
Now, this mask may look like your ordinary mask. As Dr. Joseph Neritu has just told us, this nanomedicine technology is one step ahead towards eradicating infectious diseases. Reporting for Switch TV, my name is Harriet Shimea.
From the business desk, green homes have been tipped to be the new trend real estate industry needs to embrace as architects look into greener, cleaner and sustainable urbanization plans. With cities and towns in the country growing at a fast pace and resources proving to be scarce, green homes have been termed as a solution to environmental sustainability in a world that is looking into curbing global warming in the long run. Our business reporter Brian Mwende has more.
A green home is a type of house designed to be environmentally sustainable. Green homes focus on efficient use of energy, water and building materials. A green home may use sustainably sourced, environmentally friendly and recycled building materials. These include sustainable energy sources such as solar and geothermal, and are cited to take maximum advantage of natural features such as sunlight and tree cover to improve green energy efficiency. This trend has been tipped to be the next step to urbanization.
And we actually have a few certified buildings in Nairobi and Kenya, even in Africa. So all we are doing, like what we'll be doing later on in our convention by launching the Safari tool, is actually emphasizing the need for green building and more focus on environmental sustainability for construction projects.
Wilson adds that home and office restructuring has been the new trend in the construction industry during the COVID-19 pandemic, as the workforce resolves to work from home.
You'll sit at home and realize, I want to work, but I have my family with me. I have maybe a noisy neighborhood, so people started thinking of renovating their homes. Others actually decided to move from where they were to smaller areas, quieter areas.
Now, since we cannot fight with urbanization, urban planning comes in here, from the actual building of the house to the drainage and sanitization. Brian Mwende, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Brian Mwende. Pineapple farmers in Gatundu North Sub-County are set to benefit from a processing plant that the Kiambu County government plans to set up in the area for value addition. It will be a boost to area farmers who undertake large-scale pineapple growing, but lack markets or get exploited by brokers. Kiambu Governor James Nyoro says they have set aside 20 million shillings for the establishment of the factory at Gakoe area, where pineapple farming is prominent. He says they are in the process of looking for an investor who they will partner with to complete the processing plant.
The pineapple processing factory itakuwa wapi na itagharimu pesa ngapi? Tumeweka 20 million katika budget yetu, kwa sababu tunafikiria tutatafuta strategic investor, tushikane na yeye tuwe tuna process hizo pineapples za upande huo.
Tena nimesahau kusema ni mabruka. Kuna mabruka wengi sana hapo wa mananasi wanakuja wanakununia bei rahisi, wanaenda kuuza mbali bei kali. Kwa hivyo kama tunaweza kuondolea wa mabrukas, hii biashara inaweza kuwa poa. Tuseme kuna pesa juu tumefanya hii biashara, tumesomesha watoto na hii biashara si mbaya sana.
Kwa shamba yangu niko na kama eka moja. Na hiyo eka moja kila baada ya wiki mbili ninafuna mananasi ya kama 5,000, na hiyo mahitaji yangu yote inakuwa kwa
Gor Mahia midfielder Kenneth Muguna is set to join Tanzanian side Azam FC after his contract ends with the reigning champions Gor Mahia in October.